From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your Monday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, nearly 40 vehicles and more than 100 people, all involved in a horrific multi-vehicle crash on Saturday just east of Billings. But amazingly, the majority escaped without serious injury. Well, tonight we talk with Montana Highway Patrol to find out how it all transpired and how those involved can still help investigators. Q2's Jeanelle Slade has more.
According to Montana Highway Patrol, a confirmed 30 vehicles had to be towed away from Interstate 90 near Lockwood after a multiple-car pileup Saturday afternoon.
Others involved in the crash were asked to drive their vehicle away from the scene if possible.
There were some people that were able to drive. Their vehicles were still operational. Those people that were closer to the front of the thing, if they were able to drive away, then we had them move out of the way right away so that we could get emergency vehicles, wreckers, and things into the crash scene.
Captain Edgell says that during the winter months, accidents in this area and on other bridge decks are common due to freezing temperatures.
This was kind of the perfect storm. You just had, it was only a 30 or 40 minute blast of snow that hit us. The temperatures were just right. The bridge deck froze. Had one or two people that had crashed at the very west end of the bridge. It sounds to me like maybe they had gotten out of their vehicles checking on each other, and then other people started to panic when you see two vehicles in the middle of the road. People are outside. They started trying to slow, and one thing led into another. And
Edgell says they are fortunate to have a low number of injuries given the magnitude of the pileup.
Some people were transported to the hospital. I believe that there was only the two teenagers that were knocked off the bridge that were actually hospitalized. I think everybody else was transported, treated, and released.
Captain Edgell says that Montana Highway Patrol is still hoping to hear from a number of individuals whose vehicle was damaged in the accident but were still able to leave the scene. In order to contact them, email khader@mt.gov. Reporting at home in Billings, I'm Jeanelle Slade with MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Jeanelle. Now, Edgell says it's not clear how much damage was caused. However, he says the vehicles that were towed would not otherwise have been able to make it off the highway. Well, the results are in from an extensive city study that looked at ways to improve the Billings Police Department. Staff with the Center for Public Safety Management conducted that study and looked at police staffing, call volumes, and Billings crime stats compared to other communities in Montana and across the country. Q2's Mitch Laggy joins us now with a quick overview.
According to a new study from the Center for Public Safety Management, crime, especially violent crime, has been on the rise in Billings for the past 10 years. Tonight, the Billings City Council will look at the extensive study that found ways to improve the Billings Police Department. Overall, the study found the Billings Police Department provides a quality law enforcement service, but there are three common challenges that officers regularly face in their work. One challenge is the lack of facilities and the fact that the department is spread across 6 different facilities in Billings. Another challenge the study found is insufficient staffing among police supervisors and line employees, like patrol officers and detectives. And the third challenge rests in the organizational structure and how duties are distributed among staff. While examining anecdotal evidence from police staff, the study authors found non-residents of Billings share some of the blame for the high crime rates compared to other cities. The study compared 2019 FBI data on Billings property crime and violent crime rates with other Montana cities and cities in surrounding states with similar populations, like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Pueblo, Colorado. In general, Billings ranks among the top 3 of 19 cities looked at when it comes to property and violent crime. Tonight, the Billings City Council will hear the study results from its authors, who note in the report that it will likely take years to implement some of the changes that are noted. Reporting in Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
Thank you, Mitch. Now join us back here tonight at 10 o'clock for a recap of tonight's discussion. Well, more details, including the name of a Montana man who died following a weekend officer-involved shooting in Kalispell. 41-year-old Isaiah Strong was killed shortly before 10 o'clock on Friday night. Police responded to reports of multiple vehicles being rammed by an SUV at a gas station near Cemetery Road. When Officer Brady Gray got on scene, Strong came out of the restroom and struck her with a large wooden object similar to a bat. Now, Flathead County Sheriff Brian Hino says Strong then went after a patron in the store before turning his attention back to Gray, striking her in the upper body and head. Without immediate backup coming, Gray then responded with deadly force, also striking a patron in the lower leg. Gray and the patron were taken to the hospital for treatment. Now, Strong's body was taken to the Montana State Crime Lab in Missoula, and the incident remains under investigation. Well, the Montana House and Senate are busy in the final days before the legislative session's halfway point. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian shows us how they're moving through a backlog of bills.
The Montana legislature's transmittal deadline is coming up on Wednesday, and lawmakers are now deciding which proposed bills will move forward into the second half of the session. Both the House and Senate held full-day floor sessions on Monday. Their agendas included nearly 150 bills scheduled for debates and preliminary second reading votes. The Senate was set to consider 62 just in the afternoon and evening. Any bill that doesn't appropriate money or impact state revenues has to make it through its first chamber by Wednesday to move forward. On Monday, the House rejected a proposal to choose state Supreme Court justices through partisan elections. It narrowly approved a bill that would prohibit anonymous reporting of child abuse or neglect, and it passed one increasing penalties for trespassing on or damaging a pipeline or other energy facility by a wider margin. In the Senate, a bill that would have made it easier for public employees to withdraw from unions failed on a tied vote. Senators also voted down a bill that would have given the legislative majority more seats on interim committees, and they passed one to set up a community college district in the Bitterroot. The rush of bills is undeniable, but it's not unprecedented. So far this year, there have been more than 1,100 bills introduced in the House and Senate, but that's still several hundred short of what had been introduced at one previous session at this time. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Now, the House had already planned to come back tomorrow for more second reading votes. The Senate will be working into the evening tonight, but may need to put some bills off until tomorrow. Well, a bill to regulate internet pornography in Montana was killed today at the state capitol, and a Republican committee chairman apologized for trying to rush the bill's approval 2 days ago without allowing Democrats on the committee to vote. Now, the bill would have prohibited any internet service providers in Montana from providing hardcore pornography unless a customer chose to opt in to access it. It also said only those 18 and older could choose to opt in. Well, late Saturday, the House committee met hastily and approved the measure 7-0, but committee chair Derek Skees of Kalispell didn't allow Democrats on the panel to vote. After Democrats and other panel members objected, the committee reconvened on Monday to reconsider the bill. After a brief discussion, it voted 9-3 to kill the measure, with Democrats and some Republicans opposing it. Opponents say the pornography access ban is not workable and would severely disrupt internet service in Montana. Skees also apologized, saying he shouldn't have tried to ram through the bill.
In my mind, I thought the Democrat caucus was playing a game with us on Saturday to try to block us from having a quorum. I got frustrated and rammed it through, and that's not right. I should not have done that. And so I just want to commit to both caucuses in this room that even though the process was correct, it's not right to use the rules to squelch debate.
That bill was sponsored by Republican Representative Brad Sheeta of Missoula. Now, Montana is expected to receive around 8,700 doses of the J&J COVID-19 vaccine later this week. Governor Greg Gianforte anticipates counties will begin distributing those doses next week. As of March 1, the state reports roughly 8% of Montana's total population has been vaccinated. Since it is a single shot, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will significantly increase the number of people considered fully vaccinated. Now, this news comes as the virus claims 8 more Montanans in the last 24 hours. One of those deaths in Yellowstone County, where a man in his 80s passed away at a Billings hospital. Now, 237 Yellowstone County residents have now lost their lives due to COVID-19. The other 7 deaths reported out of Flathead County bring the state's total deaths to 1,378. Well, tonight, the state reports just under 1,600 active cases, while more than 97,000 Montanans have recovered. Well, one of 2 young bald eagles recently rescued near Shepherd is back in her habitat tonight. Ready to take flight, the young eagle was released in the area she was found in early February. As you can see, after a few hops, she spreads her wings again to soar. Now, Shepherd couple Carrie and Julie Betts originally found the eagle cold and malnourished. 2 weeks later, they found a young male eagle face down in the snow, suffering from lead poisoning. Now, the Betts transported both raptors to the Montana Raptor Conservation Center in Bozeman, where they've been recovering. Today, the young, healthy female was handed over to the Betts in Reed Point before heading to Shepherd. And emotional Julie Betts says this eagle is ready to take on the world.
Simply put, is that it seems as though whenever I personally am going through a difficult time, they'll show up in my life. And when I watch them, they are so confident and determined and very strong. And for some reason, I can absorb that strength.
That's awesome. According to Becky Keene of the Montana Raptor Center, she says the male is still recovering but will soon return to the skies. Up next on tonight's MTN 530 News on Q2, with the State A tournament kicking off this weekend, we catch up with one of the defending co-champions hoping to make it back-to-back state titles. Plus, a heartwarming story as one Montana military family is stepping up to make sure Montanans stay warm even if the weather does not.
And it turned out to be a pretty nice day for that eagle to take wing as temperatures warmed up into the upper 40s and had a little wind beneath its wings too, gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Tell you about the forecast details coming up.